Hi everyone, I'm Liz, and welcome back to Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch for Flosstube episode 10. This week I'm going to give you updates on my sampler September so far and my plans for next week. I took a little road trip this week and visited two cross-stitch stores in person, so I have some haul to show you from that. I'll announce the giveaway winner for the Home for the Holidays book, and I have a little bit of quilting to show you guys, so let's get started. I want to start with a previous finish this week, and what I'm going to show you is a pattern from the drawn thread, and I couldn't find the pattern, so I'll put the picture up on the screen so you can see the pattern. I think it's called Welcome Summer, and I stitched this year. I bought the kit from the Drawn Threads website, so it came with all the silk threads I needed, which was great. And here it is. I love this thing. This is stitched on the called for fabric with the called for silk flosses. So I think there's some dinky dyes and some NPIs. I'll give you a little close up. There's a lot of little specialty stitches in the flowers, back stitching, I think some satin stitching. Love this little piece cap that's satin stitched. I mean, I love all of this. I'm debating whether or not I'm just going to leave this up year round because it says welcome, but it is quite summery. It'll probably stay up for now, but I might maybe I'll do like the winter one in this series and then just switch these out, you know, kind of halfway through the year with each other. And I did frame this myself. This frame came from framesusa.com, where you can get custom sized frames. It's a particle board wrapped with, you know, a print. This isn't like solid wood that's been stained, but I really liked the kind of reddish tone of the frame, and I thought it looked really nice with all the blue and red in this piece. Yeah, so they just sent, so I ordered just the frame custom sized to fit my piece with a piece of foam core board, and then this one I actually laced, although I do prefer my pinning method that I've showed you guys before, but this one I laced and popped it in and just hangs on my wall. So that's my my previous finish that I did finish this year and I love. I don't have any finishes this week since I was focused on my samplers and starting some things and working on some whips. So instead of finishes, I'm going to go through a couple of questions that I got last week that I thought were fun and other people might want to know the answer to. So the first one that I got a couple of times was, did I spill that bag of polyfill beads? If you watched my last video, I was showing off, do I have it? I don't know. I was showing off this bag of polyfill weighted pellets that I'd used in some pillows, and I went to set it down and it just tumbled to the ground, and I laughed, and I just left it in the video because it made me laugh. So no, luckily the cap was screwed on tight, but what happened is I tried to set it on my desk and kind of missed the edge of my desk, and it tumbled into my trash can and knocked my whole trash can over, which is just thread and fabric scraps and stuff. But anyways, it made a lot of noise and it made me laugh, and I just thought it was funny, so I left it in. But no, thank goodness thousands of pellets did not scatter across my floor. The other question I got was about how I stitch, because I tend to mention that I start in the top right of my projects because I know that's pretty different. I think most people start in the top left or in the center. There's a lot of center starters. Anyways, the question from Carol was, are you left-handed, and is that why you start on the right side of your projects? And I thought that was really interesting because, yeah, I think most people do start at the top left and most people are right-handed, right? So maybe that makes sense. But for me, I'm right-handed. But for me, I use the sewing method, and I stitch my stitches horizontally, or I use my needle horizontally. And so that means I stitch from right to left with my needle. And then the way I stitch, I like to go right to left and up and down, never left to right. So I like to start in the top right corner, and as I work my way over and down, I kind of spread out from there. I know a lot of people who stitch in hand who still start in the top left. Maybe they use a different stitching in hand method than I do. Just for me, the way it works out is I prefer to start in this top right, and then that also means that the fabric that I'm holding in my left hand hasn't been stitched on yet, so I'm not like crushing my previous stitches or messing anything up. So I'm always holding on to like blank fabric, which is how I prefer to stitch. So I'm pretty methodical about starting in the top right corner and working my way out usually, just so I'm always holding on to empty blank fabric in my left hand. So that's how I like to stitch. Okay, so let's talk about what I worked on this week. I'm gonna start with my Christmas stocking that got some love, mostly just yesterday. Probably should put some more hours in on this, but that's okay. It got some love. As a reminder of the pattern, I'll put it up on the screen. This is the Kooler Design Studio Heirloom Stocking Series, and I'm doing the Holiday Study. And here is my stocking progress so far. So really just kept working on Santa Claus, doing some more back stitching. There's so much back stitching in this section, so I worked a lot on back stitching and then just bringing down some of these blocks and the goose. And yeah, there is my progress on Rob's stocking. It's looking good. I have 2 months to finish this bottom toe of the stocking and get it made into a stocking before decorating for Christmas, and I think I have plenty of time, so I'm not stressing. I'm just going to work on this every week, and I think I'll be on track to finish it by end of October or early November, so yay. Okay, so then for Sampler September, I told you guys last week that I was going to focus on one of my sampler whips, of which there are many, and then I was going to start one new sampler that I had kitted up. And so let me start with the sampler whip that I worked on this week, which was Oh Joyous Day. Here is the chart. I'm sure you've seen this. Tons of people have stitched it, and it is beautiful. This is a strong statement, but I think this might be my favorite current active whip. I feel crazy saying that because I love all my projects, but the combination of the 36 count Legacy, Picture This Plus Legacy, with the threads, the colors, I don't know, the whole combination of everything, this is just like my perfect whip right now. I love working on this. So let me show you my progress I made this week. I really only worked on this for I think 2 days before I started my new sampler, but I think I made pretty good progress. Let me show you. Here it is. So you can see I worked all the way across the top and got that whole top row of flowers, and then I started the middle section with the rainbow alphabet, which I love. Let me zoom in a little bit so I can see. Yeah, so I just started working on the little rainbow letters down in here. So, but yeah, I finished up 2 of these flowers and moved on, and so I feel like I've made some pretty good progress. I love this one. I think it's so beautiful. I can't wait to have this one done. I'm not in like a rush to get it done. It doesn't have any kind of deadline on it. It's just so fun to work on, so I'm a little sad that I'm not going to be working on this one for the rest of the month, but I have some other great samplers to work on, so I'll get back to this one eventually. The sampler that I started this week was from the Home for the Holidays book, and it is Christmas Garden by Blackbird Designs. Let me show you a picture. Love this. I picked 2 of my own colors. I picked a new red, and I went with ruby slippers, and I picked a new gold, which was bee's knees. And I put those details on Instagram, and then I'll just keep mentioning in the video in case you want to use my color conversion. I'm really happy with it so far, so let me show you my progress. Here it is so far. Oh, I love it. So just got a good chunk of that top right corner. This is like the center point, and this isn't quite the center point. This is maybe like 40% of the way down. So I feel like I made pretty good progress this week. I really worked on this Tuesday through Friday, so for 4 days, I think, 4 pretty full days of stitching on this, or maybe 3.5. But yeah, I got a lot of love. I love the way my colors are looking. I was a little unsure on the gold, honestly. This is one I'm stitching along with Celeste from Celeste Creates, and I was texting her late one night, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was like, did I make the wrong choice on the gold? And she was like, look at it tomorrow in the daylight. Good advice. I did, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy with it. I was, you know, looking at underneath my bright, crazy LED light, and you know, it was like midnight. I was like, stop stitching, go to bed, look at it in the morning. Yeah, so I'm loving this. So there are 5 spots for initials in this pattern, and I decided to use my mom, myself, and my 3 sisters as the initials. So I started with my sister Allison over here. I think my mom's name will go somewhere right here, and then there's 3 more spots in the bottom half. So, yay, that's Christmas Garden. I also want to mention that Celeste and I are stitching along together, and we created a hashtag called hashtag September Christmas Garden. If anyone else is working on Christmas Garden and wants to stitch along with us, I've already seen several people using the hashtag who have this in progress, so thank you so much. I love looking through those and seeing those pop up. I follow the hashtag, so I see them all in my Instagram feed, and I love it. So keep using it and tagging me, or you know, whatever, because I love seeing progress on the same projects I'm working on, because it's so motivating to keep me going. And anyways, thank you guys so much for using the hashtag if you have already. So that brings us to the giveaway for this week. Last week I told you that I bought an extra copy of the Home for the Holidays book, and you guys entered and told me if you were a Christmas stitcher or like a fall Halloween stitcher, and I totally forgot to take into account that Halloween is not as big of a deal in other countries as it is here. So that was really fun, you know, to hear people mention what other holidays they stitch for, or why maybe they don't stitch Halloween, which totally makes sense, or you know, they stitch more autumn than Halloween, and I totally get that. Like I don't have little kids. Halloween hasn't really been a big thing for me since, you know, I was in college and wanted to dress up and go to house parties. So I've never really been into Halloween stitching, but for some reason this year the like bug bit me, and I'll show you some other stuff soon and you'll see what I mean. I just keep buying Halloween stuff. That's okay. Okay, enough rambling. Let me give this away. So I'll put the picture up on the screen, but the winner of the Home for the Holidays book is Peggy Newton. That's your YouTube name. So Peggy, congratulations. You've won this booklet. I'll leave a comment on your comment from last week, and if you just want to email me, my email address is in the description box, and give me your address. I'll put this in the mail to you, and you can start any number of wonderful Christmas projects from Blackbird. So congratulations, Peggy. I do have one other project that I worked on this week that was a new start, but I'm going to save it towards the end of the video when I go through some haul and stuff I got in the mail, because it's related to that. So hold please. Let's continue Sampler September chat though. So that was my new start, Christmas Garden, and my sampler whip, Oh Joyous Day. So for this upcoming week, I'm going to do the same thing. I have picked a new whip that I'm going to focus on and a new start, and I'm really excited to show you. So I'm going to start with the whip that I picked out for this week. And this is one I've showed you before. This is Blackberry House by Plum Street Samplers. I think it's so cool. I started this one, I actually was kind of working on my spreadsheet of whips because I only started it when I started making Flosstube videos, so I've been trying to add some older projects to it, which, let me pause here. Is anyone interested in seeing a whip parade? Because I'm going through and organizing all my whips. There's still a lot of stuff I haven't showed you guys. I know I've showed you a lot of the projects I'm working on, but there is a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff that I'm working on that I just haven't worked on in the past couple of months. So as I'm organizing it and trying to enter it into my spreadsheet to have like a rough idea of when I started it, and what fabric and floss and stuff I'm using, so I can tell you guys when I eventually work on it again. I was thinking maybe I could do some sort of like whip parade as like a standalone video, just like, I know it's not like the end of the year or even mid-year, but almost just like, I haven't done one before, so like a state of affairs at Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. So like, there's kind of like a starting point for all my whips, and then I can kind of keep track of it better. I don't know. If anyone wants to see me go through all my whips, let me know, because I think I'm going to do that as kind of like a standalone video, just so I have like a starting point for my whips, and then I'll have to make a plan on how I'm going to get through them all. Anyways, let me know if you're interested. I think I might do that this week. Okay, Blackberry House. I keep looking down because all my stuff is around. Which also, I did change up my setup slightly. I just like shifted you guys. I felt like there was this slightly more interesting background. You can see all my floss. Why am I talking about all this? It doesn't matter. I have a new background. Okay. Blackberry House. Here she is. I picked this because I'm really close. I have to fill in that giant urn, fill in the little house, and do the bottom band. So I don't think I'm going to get this done this week, but I feel like I could get pretty close. I feel like I could at least get that urn filled in and that house filled in, and then just have like the bottom left to do. So yeah, I wanted to pick this one this week to focus on and get it closer to a finish. I started this one, I believe, in February. So it hasn't been a whip that long, but you know, I put a lot of work into it, I think in February and March, and then it's just been kind of sitting since then. So yeah, I want to pull this one back out and give it some love this week. Okay, so for my new sampler start this week, I have picked out the Scarlett House in Topley, 1802. Isn't that so cool? I love the bright colors against the dark fabric. This is going to be something new for me. I've never stitched on a dark fabric like this before, ever. So I'm very excited. I also think, are those eyelet stitches or smearing crosses in the letters? I don't know. I think there's some specialty stitches, which I'm comfortable with, but I haven't really done as like an alphabet. Like I haven't done an eyelet alphabet or anything like that before. I just think this one's so cute. And it's not too huge. 122 by 181. So it's, you know, it's just a sweet kind of, I think, medium to smallish size sampler. So super cute. I can't wait to start this one this week. Let me show you, I don't have a ring for the flosses, but here is the flosses. They're so bright and fun on this dark fabric. Yeah. I love this. Let me see. This is 36 count Twilight by Weeks, which is really a super dark kind of blue charcoal-y color. I believe the called for double dyed black forest linen from Lakeside, which maybe is a truer black, but in this up close picture, I feel like it does look a little like a bluish tint to the fabric. So this is the piece I had. And let me hold the threads up again. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with for my start. I think it's going to look so cool. I really hope, I mean, the holes look easy enough to see. I hope it's not too painful. I'll report back next week on how I like stitching on this dark linen. Okay, so that was my Sampler September update. I'm very excited to get back to it next week. Now I want to talk to you about some stuff that I got in the mail, and then some stuff I bought in person this week because I took a little road trip. The first thing I want to start with is some happy mail that I got. A really, really lovely woman named Renee reached out to me on email and told me that she was destashing some charts and some fabric. She told me she only focuses on like reproduction samplers now, and she had some 32 count fabric and some 36 count and some charts that she just wasn't going to use or stitch. And she was like, oh, do you want me to send them to you? And I was like, yeah, of course. I thought it was just, I thought she was just sending me a few things. She sent me 2 big bubble mailers of stuff. Renee, thank you. I've already reached out to her over email, and it was like midnight. Sorry, Renee. And rambled excessively about how excited I was. I was like squealing when I opened the bag. I was like, oh my God, all this stuff. I want to stitch it all right now. And so I just thought I'd show you a few of my favorite charts that she had passed along to me. And they're all fall themed. So that's why I picked these to show you, because, everybody's still getting into fall stitching, and I thought you might like to see these. I don't think I'll have time to stitch them for this year, but one of them I will. I'll show you that in a second. One of the first ones that she sent me that I'm obsessed with is Witch's Night Out by Brenda Gervais. Look how cute that is. Oh my God. I love her. She is getting stitched. Just probably not in time for this year, but that's okay. Another one is one I had never seen before. It's a Scarlett house, and it's called Fall Frolic. And it actually reminds me a lot of the Barbara Anna piece that I stitched. Obviously in a slightly different style, but yeah, love this. And then the other one is one that I've seen a lot of people stitch and has always come in and out of my cart, and I just had never pulled the trigger on it, and I was so excited to see this and the stuff that she sent me, and it is Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. Oh, sorry for the glare. But I'm sure you've seen Cinnamon Stars. Again, I really want to stitch this one for fall decorating, but, it's a little too big for me to start and finish right now, so maybe for next year. Love it. So thank you, Renee. Again, I really appreciate it. There was also some really great fabric in there. My mom came over yesterday and grabbed some ornament charts and some fabric, and yeah, we're both delighted. Thank you. So also included in Renee's package was a kit, or a project that was fully kitted, and it was by The Drawn Thread, one of my faves. And it's called Almost Halloween. Look how stinking cute that is. So, I'll try and show it again. Yeah. Actually, I'm sure you all watch them, but Country Stitchers, Deb and Liz, Deb showed hers off this week, and I had never seen it before, the pattern. And she showed it, and I was like, oh, how cute is that? And then literally the day after I watched it, this shows up in the mail, and I was like, what? I was like, I love that. I love Drawn Thread. I love their little banners. I showed you my Welcome Summer that I just stitched, and I've been full on fall frenzy, and I got this in the mail on Friday night and started it immediately. Probably why my stocking didn't get as much love as it needed to, but that's okay. She sent this to me fully kitted up with 32 count Lakeside vintage pearled barley, which is one of my all-time favorite fabrics. I actually have another project in the whip bin that you haven't seen that's on 32 count vintage pearl barley. Love it. And she sent along the DMC and the Threadworks, and even some little fancy, oh, you can see how sparkly it is. Good. Okay. I was worried I didn't know how that would show up on camera. But some sparkly specialty fiber that I've never stitched with, but we were at Stitches from the Heart in San Antonio on Tuesday, and I was pointing out to Rob all the like Krynick and I don't know the other brands, but like all the like sparkly specialty threads, and I was telling him how I had never stitched anything using one of those threads, and I was like, I need to find a project to do something because I really want to try some of the kind of specialty stuff. And then this shows up and I was like, yes, I get to try it. So let me show you the progress on my little start on Halloween. Here it is. Oh my gosh, so cute. So far I've made 3 stitches in the specialty thread, which is in the cat collar. I don't know how well you can tell here, but oh my god. Oh, I just love a drawn thread pattern. If you want an easy way to try out some specialty stitches, they have really good diagrams. They're just so interesting and cool. So, oops. These little bats are a combination of cross stitches and satin stitches. I believe, oh gosh, I can't remember what else is in the pattern. I think there's some little specialty flower stitches. This is going to be a candy corn W. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I think after seeing Deb's, I might backstitch my skeleton to make him pop out a little bit more, because I really liked the way hers looked. So yeah, this I'm going to finish so I can put this up on October 1st. So along with all my samplers that I'm going to work on in September, I'm also going to finish this. I mean, I did these 3.5 letters in about 3.5 hours. So this is a pretty quick one to work on. Well, I'm saying that. I don't know. We'll see. I think the O is a full filled in pumpkin, so maybe that'll slow me down. But that is my new start. Renee, thank you so much for passing this along. I'm so happy you weren't going to stitch it, because now I can. So thank you again. So the only other bit of haul that I got in the mail this week was from Brenda Gervais' website. I have started stitching the word plays, and by started I mean I did May. Did I do June? June? I think I did June. I did June, and I have July, and those are the only 2 I had. And now I have November and December, because somehow I think I'm gonna have time to stitch those before we get to November and December. Probably not, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm gonna get everything done in October. We'll find out. So I just got the November and the December word plays. Okay, so let's talk about what I got while I was out and about in the world this week. Rob and I on Tuesday drove down to San Antonio, and our first stop was at Stitches from the Heart up in Northwest San Antonio, which is such a great shop. It is pretty big, easy to move around in, and just packed full of charts and beautiful models. There are so many awesome gigantic samplers on the wall. Like, there's a lot of eye candy, and some of their models got me. Not the big samplers. I have too many of those. But some of their models, like I ended up grabbing a chart from some of those. And yeah, let me show you what I got. So the first thing I got is the Autumn Alphabet, and from the Scarlett house, which I have seen a lot of people do, and I think this is the first time I saw that kind of hornbook finish that she used on the cover model. Yeah, it's so cool. So again, I'm not going to have this stitched for fall decorating this year, but I will, I'm going to try and get it done for next year. But one thing you might have seen if you watch Cynthia Brew or Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts is that they are doing a hashtag Great Pumpkin Sal during the month of October. And they're also doing it to raise money for a great organization that helps victims of human trafficking. And so I am going to participate in terms of the SAL and donating to the great cause. I think Cynthia is raffling off some really great prizes from herself and some other Flosstubers. So you can go watch her video to get more information on how all of that works. And if you want to, donate a few dollars to the cause, Cynthia is trying to raise money for her son-in-law's family's foundation that helps with human trafficking victims, and I think getting them therapy and education and just like helping them kind of re-enter the world. That I read about it, she sent us the link. It seems like a really great cause, so I'm excited to stitch along with them. And I think, I have a couple options, but I think this is probably going to be the pattern I stitch on for the Great Pumpkin Sal. So, love that. So the other pattern I'm going to show you has a pumpkin on it, so maybe it'll be this one. Why am I cracking myself up today? I'm not even saying anything funny. I just looked down and I'm like, oh, it's another pumpkin. It's the Drawn Threads pumpkin. I'm obsessed with Drawn Thread, clearly. This is the botanical series, the same kind of series they did where they did that blue bonnet that I stitched and showed, and they have a pumpkin, or a cucurbita pepo. I guess that's the Latin name or the species name for pumpkin. Love this. So this could also be my piece for the Great Pumpkin Sal. Now I don't know. One of these will be. I love them both. So those are the two charts that I got at Stitches from the Heart. And then I also found an amazing piece of fabric. That is my favorite part about stitching in person, is getting to look, see, touch, feel, admire all of the beautiful hand-dyed linen. It's fine shopping online, but there's just nothing like seeing it in person. And so they had a lot of Picture This Plus, and I restrained myself and just bought one piece, and I bought, it's more aqua, I think, than it's showing on camera. It's more closer, I think, to my shirt. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's showing up true and I just am imagining things. This is called Tidal. Yeah. This is 36 count Tidal by Picture This Plus, and it's a color I hadn't seen before, maybe on their website. Like, I've looked through their website every once in a while, but I hadn't seen it in person before, and it is just beautiful. It's very variegated. I don't know exactly what I'm going to stitch on this yet, but I just bought a fat eighth of Tidal, and I love it. Yeah, it was such a cool shop. Thank you, Stitches from the Heart. Everybody working in there was lovely. And they had some awesome models. There's a chart I think I showed you guys a while back that I hauled. It was one of the cottage garden samplings. Is it Dream or Love? I can't remember which one I bought. I'll put the picture up. I'll find it and put the picture up online or on the screen. But they had the models stitched up, and I had no idea how big they were. I think the model stitcher stitched them on 30 count, and I'd probably do 36 or 40, so mine would be a little bit smaller, but I don't know if I just didn't look at the stitch count. Some hefty boys. Some hefty stitches in that. So now I'm a little intimidated to start that, but I don't have any plans to. But anyways, I just thought it was so cool because they had some really awesome models, and I got to see one of the patterns that I bought a while back in person, and it was very cool. So then after we went to Stitches from the Heart, and we were literally driving out of the parking lot, I saw Quilt Store, just at the other end of the shopping center from Stitches from the Heart. It has "so" in the name, like SEW, like so much. I don't remember now. But it's in the same shopping center as Stitches from the Heart. So I ran into the Quilt Store, and I got a few things. Let me show you, just some fat quarters. And I got this charm pack called Naughty or Nice by Basic Gray, which is adorable. I kind of want to make a crosshatch quilts Christie style bag. I think I might cut these into fourths and make little squares, and then make some kind of quilty patchwork bags. I don't know. I have some Christmas projects that I think, like Christmas garden needs a bag. It's just like a little plastic zipper bag, but I could make a Christmas garden project bag. But yeah, so I bought the charm pack, and then I got some fat quarters. So I just got some kind of Christmassy prints, and then some Halloween themed stuff. I could not pass up these little black cats and a pumpkin. Oh my gosh, so cute. And then this is just kind of like a subtle gray floral that I thought could be cool with some fall stuff. Okay. Oh, I got one other thing. I got this fabric from the Quilt Store. It's just like some kind of retro vintage inspired logos, like product labels and things. It's very bright, colorful, fun, and I thought this would make a good project bag as well. It was just on the clearance rack, and I was like, yes, give me some. Okay, so let's talk about my favorite part of the week. I went to the Tinsmith's Wife in Comfort, Texas on Wednesday. On our way out of San Antonio, Rob and I took the long way home, kind of, if you're from Texas, like west of I-35, between San Antonio and Austin. We kind of went home that way. And so we drove through Comfort, which is about, I think, 40-ish minutes from, maybe it took about 45 minutes from downtown San Antonio. So not too far from San Antonio. This store was my Disney World. I loved it so much. I posted about it on my Instagram. It saved it to my highlights if you want to go see pictures from inside the store and see me ramble about how great it was. If you're anywhere in Central Texas ever, make a trip. It's worth it. It is so cool. If you knit or crochet, there's a whole room for, and when I say room, I mean like, hundreds of square feet of yarn and knitting and crochet supplies. There is a whole gigantic room of needlepoint, canvases and fibers, and I haven't really done I've done a little bit of needlepoint, not that much, and I was like ready to just spend all my money in the needlepoint room, and I was like, no, you're here for cross stitch, keep moving. And then I got to the big giant cross stitch room. Oh my god, it was so fun. I think I only even spent like maybe 30-40 minutes in there because Rob was in the car. He didn't want to come in because it's you don't need to be around a lot of people if you don't need to be. And so I could have easily spent an hour or two in there during normal times. It was so cool, guys. I don't even know. I feel like I'm just gonna like gush, and who needs to hear me talk about that for 10 minutes. It was just so cool. I'm so glad we made the trip. They had a full drawer full of Lakeside linen and just drawers full of the most amazing fabrics. I bought a lot of fabric, and I'm going to show it to you. A lot of it. But let me start with the charts because I also bought some charts. This is yet another Halloween pattern. I can't stop. This one just came out. It's called Creepin' It Round by Heart and Hand, one of their little heartware series. Here's the full picture. It's so cute. Oh my god. I love it. Yep, this was sitting on her new arrivals table. She was just like putting them out, and I was like, yeah, I'll take one of those. I also was on the hunt for Erica Michael's strawberries. I had looked at Stitches from the Heart, and I think they'd only had a couple of like holiday themed ones, and I had some in mind that I wanted, and I actually found them at the Tinsmith's Wife. So I got My Needleberry. They're all from the Linenberry series from Erica Michael. So I got My Needleberry, and I got the Sampler Berry. This is the one I was really looking for. I love it. I mean, I love them all. I cannot wait. I have bought so many strawberry patterns lately, and I want to start stitching them. Mostly so I can finish them into strawberries. And then I bought one more strawberry pattern, and this is the Jingleberry. And I bought an awesome piece of fabric, I'll show you in a minute, that I'm going to stitch this on. Yeah. So cute. Okay, so those were the charts. So let me get into the fabric. And they're so helpfully labeled. First up is 40 count Old Town Blend by R&R, and I got a fat quarter of it. I know this fabric is used a lot in patterns. I've never had any, and I really wanted a piece. It is a lovely color. So 40 count Old Town Blend. And now there's like 8 pieces of Lakeside. Please don't judge me. Wendy, who owns the Tinsmith's Wife, was telling me that her mom is really close with the woman who owns Lakeside Linen, and they seem to get a good steady stream of Lakeside shipments. So if there's a color you need, I would recommend calling them and seeing if they have it. They have a lot of Lakeside in their store. This is 36 count cedar plank. Is it vintage? Yeah, vintage cedar plank by Lakeside, which is just a cool blue, gray, green. And then I got a piece of 40 count vintage fawn, and these are fat 8s. This is 40 count vintage sand dune. And then I also got a piece of 36 count vintage sand dune in a fat quarter. And actually, like, here's a good example of how the same color can look a little different. Oh, they don't actually look that different now that I'm holding them up. I feel like they look a little more different in person. But this is the 40 count piece and this is the 36 count piece. And then this is, oh, I love this color. This is 36 count Lakeside vintage bisque in a fat quarter. And I felt like this was a really nice kind of light sampler color. And then the last piece of Lakeside, I really should count these. How many did I get? I got a 36 count Lakeside vintage Chantilly cream. And then the last piece of fabric I bought that I'm going to use for that linenberry, the jingleberry that I showed you, is this piece of 36 count Weeks Aztec Red. Just so cool. Love this color. Yeah, so that was my fabric haul. Oh my gosh. Look at all this. Can this just be my thumbnail? Excitement over fabric. Oh my god, I love it. So yeah, that's all my fabric haul from the Tinsmith's wife. Oops, I found one more thing. I found a Blackbird Designs book that I hadn't seen before, so I have no idea if this is still available. I think it's from 2009. And I just noticed, not just right this second, but earlier this week, that it has the bird from the Home for the Holidays book. So I guess I have 2 copies of this pattern now, which is fine. But the reason I bought it is for the cover sampler. Look how beautiful that is. Joyous Noel? I don't know. I can't speak French. I took Spanish in class, or in high school and college. Let me see if I can show you some of the other patterns. So they have some little strawberries. Love a strawberry. Oh, I love this little sweetheart pattern. What else is in here? So that's Joyous Noel from Blackbird Designs. So I also grabbed that book. It was a super fun trip. So that was all my haul, and yeah, I had a really fun week. I was off from work this week. We got to take our little road trip, have some good food, hung out in our hotel room, and even in the hotel bar, you know, nice and socially distanced from everyone, having some drinks and watching some basketball on Tuesday night. That was a lot of fun. And came home, and really, I mean, I've just been stitching and crafting and doing all kinds of fun stuff. I did a little bit of quilting this week, which I'll show you in just a second. And yeah, it was just a really fun week off. I'm a little bit sad to have to go back to work next week, but that's okay. I gotta pay for all this stitchy goodness I just bought. So I better get back to work. But yeah, quilting. Okay, so quilt corner. I did a little bit of quilting this week. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted some pictures and some videos on Instagram. I did some long arm quilting this week. I had an appointment on Friday at my local long arm studio. So I don't know if these are things everywhere, but here in Austin, it's a pretty popular thing to be able to rent time on a long arm machine at a quilt shop, or this is specifically a long arm quilting studio. It's called Over the Top Quilting. So if you're anywhere near Austin, Cedar Park, and you want a long arm, look them up, Over the Top Quilting. So I made my appointment on Friday, and it was for a quilt that my mom pieced, and it's called Starstorm by Victoria Finley Wolfe. And I'll put a picture, or I'll just take up the whole screen. You don't need to see my face while I talk about it. It is super, super cool. So it was a few years ago. I think I showed my mom something that Victoria had made, and she started following her on Instagram and loving her stuff. And then she was the featured designer at QuiltCon this year in Austin. And so my mom and I had gone to QuiltCon this year, and she had picked up her pattern Starstorm and kind of gotten like a tutorial for someone who works for Victoria, like in her booth, was kind of showing her like how easy the pattern was to put together. And my mom said it was super simple to put together, even though it looks very large and complicated. It's a huge quilt. It's like 80 by 80. So I think it looks so cool. And she did this all with just fabric that I was getting rid of out of my fabric room when I moved and I was kind of downsizing some stuff. So she did an awesome job with just, like, she didn't even plan, like, I mean, obviously she planned as she sewed, but like, she didn't go buy all this fabric to do this specific thing. She just took fabric that I was letting go of and just made this amazing quilt. So I hope you enjoyed. It was so much fun to quilt. I used I really want to get my butt in gear on my Halloween quilts. I have been making progress on it, but I don't have the quilt top done. Otherwise, I would show it to you. But I would really like to get that done and quilted by October 1st, which means I've got less than a month to get it done. So I need to find a break in my busy stitching schedule to get that done. And yeah. So anyways, I think that's all I had to share with you guys this week. It's probably been a little bit of a long one. Sorry about that. But I think I'll probably be back maybe later in the week with a whip parade. Show you guys kind of everything I have going, because I'm going to work on my spreadsheet to kind of keep track of all my whips. So I might as well show you all of them while I'm doing that. And then maybe in October, once I'm kind of through all my sampler stitching, I mean, I'm never through with samplers, but once I'm through only focusing on samplers, I might come up with a plan to get through some of my whips and get some more finishes going, because I had a lot of fun with all my finishes from Fall Frenzy. So yeah, anyways, so I hope everybody has a great week and has a good Labor Day and gets a lot of stitching time in tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Bye.